Today we play Volcarona. For 3 energy, Volcarona deals 80 damage to any target on the board at the cost of discarding 2 energies. This card has never been particularly good, especially when you compare it to something like the non-EX Decidueye. Being a stage 1, Volcarona is paying a massive cost in lower HP, higher attack cost, and discarding 2 energies per attack. Unlike the Decidueye, this makes Volcarona unsustainable as your main attacker. But that's not even all. I think arguably Volcarona's biggest flaw is actually Larvesta, that has an awful attack and most importantly, a high retreat cost as well. Again, compared with the Rowlets, which are all pretty good, Volcarona has been done super dirty in this game. Enter Flame Patch. This card has single-handedly changed the game for fire types. While it doesn't make Volcarona viable by itself, it definitely elevates fire decks as a whole, creating the conditions to sometimes make even cards like Volcarona shine. In today's deck, it's Raining Lava. By combining Heatran with Magby, Arceus, Flame Patch and Elemental Switch, we can create the conditions for Volcarona to take opponents by surprise. Because Heatran can attack for 2 energy and retreat for free, we can enable it quickly with Flame Patch or transfer its energy with Elemental Switch. Note that we're running 7 basics here, not because 7 basics is optimal by any means, but because we want to minimize the chances of starting with Larvesta or Arceus at all costs. But then we can still use May to exchange the extras for what we need. This deck has been working surprisingly well for me. I only wish Heatran had 10 more HP to actually survive all the 130 damage attacks out there with a giant cape. But you may also ask, why no Pokemon Flute? While you can try Flute here for Volcarona to one-shot basics or Heatmor to one-shot babies, I found it to be too situational. Pokemon Flute is better suited for bulkier and more sustainable main attackers like the Decidueye or Victory Bell. But Volcarona is more of a tech card here that usually only comes in the late game to finish the game. But while Volcarona is still kind of a bad card, this is by far the most fun and success I've had with the Volcarona deck. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and hype and consider subscribing for more fun off-meta decks. Is there any card you want to see played in Master Ball? Let me know in the comments and I'll build a deck around it. With that said, check this deck out in action and enjoy the games. Okay. Against Altaria, it's definitely very rough. I'm tempted to go with all of these in Copycat, even though I kind of lose the Volcarona. Flame Patch, Elemental Switch, this could all be kind of alright. Chingling does prevent those, but it's not like I need to use them next turn. The problem is, what do I do against Altaria? At least a full bench Altaria. The only ways to deal with it is Volcarona with Giant Cape or Arceus. I might have to risk it here. If they had other options, they would not have played the second Chingling. You know what? I'm actually kind of tempted to go with Magby again. Just get more energy as much as possible. But I do have Elemental Switch. I'm gonna try this. Instead of exposing my Heatran, just potentially sacrificing the Heatmor. Well, I guess maybe Heatran would have been fine. Okay, so they do have 2 more basics there. But no Altaria. That's pretty good potentially. I'm gonna go with the Giant Cape here now, just to prepare for a potential hit from Altaria into Volcarona. Although they would need to evolve both, right? If Volcarona gets online, it's game over now. If they don't evolve both. But yeah, I guess looking back, I should have just attacked with Heatran first. Guaranteed the knockout on the active there. And they did play Lysia, but only played 1 bench. Right? So I think they have a Jirachi in hand. They would need the Indeedee and the Altaria. Or actually they just used it for the May. So they might not have a bench anymore. Okay. I think we win. Right, I just Pokeball. I made to get my Volcarona. Oh no, because I would discard my energy if I just do it like that. Right, this can only attack. It can actually be kind of risky if I go for the May into the Volcarona. Right, but they might have the... and I don't get it. Okay. And what do I do here? I guess just attacking for 80 is as good as it gets right now. I can potentially prepare the Arceus next turn. Yeah, this can be one of the problems of running this many Pokemon is... Like, I mostly run all of these Pokemon to try to avoid starting with Larvesta or Arceus. For the most part, it kind of works, but then there are also situations where it turns against you. Okay, I mean, I was afraid of Mars. Against Mars, I think May was the right play. But if I knew they didn't have Mars, then Research was better. Yeah, Volcarona should just win. If I can draw it. It's a 50-50. I'm gonna try this. They do heal the Altaria. I need to go for the 50-50 on that Jirachi. Yeah, that may really screwed me up. Yeah, so they're afraid of red, which is understandable. Man, I was afraid of Mars. That's why I used May slightly early. Come on, 50-50. There we go. Oh, that's amazing. Volcarona finish. That's kind of how you beat Altaria, is by ignoring the Altarias. You go for the Chinglings and the Jirachi. Maybe an Indeedee if you're lucky. Oof, that was close. Alright, going first against Altaria. I'm just gonna play this because of the copycat. But yeah, not perfect here. They do get the Altaria with 3 basics. There's one. Altaria is just so rough to deal when it sets up fast. Okay, we wake up from the sleep at least. I'm gonna try this now that I drew the Volcarona. Not ideal. Could just work. Okay, it's the non-EX one. Interesting. Huh. Honestly, I'm gonna take care of the second Swablu then. If I can prevent a second Second Volcarona, of the second Altaria. Right, I'm just gonna go directly for it. Now I only need to deal with this Altaria, with this, yeah. If I can deal with this non-EX Altaria, then I can snipe the Chingling. Wait, what? Why would they play a second Chingling? That's really silly. Yeah, I'm even gonna dump my hands. I'm gonna put the energy on the Heatmor, just so they see exactly what I'm doing. I guess they can play a Giant Cape on the Chingling, which will make it a bit trickier, right? So in that case, it could have been misplayed from my part. But they did use a Rocky Helmet. But yeah, that was pretty silly. I guess they wanted a full bench to be able to deal 80 damage, because if they only dealt 60, it would not have been enough. Like, I would have been at 80. And then they would have still needed to play the bench to finish off the Volcarona on the second hit. But playing the second Chingling is not how you want to fill up the bench there. Maybe they didn't have any other options, I guess. They did play Elysia, right? And that was after the Swablu. So yeah, that's a rage quit. Let's go for the triple with Volcarona, I guess, while they're offline. Volcarona MVP here. But yeah, this is quite awkward. I guess I get going with the non-EX Altaria when you don't draw the Mega. But against bench snipers, you don't just play your babies. You deal the 60 if you want to. Maybe you prepare the Indeedee. Maybe you sacrifice a Chingling in the front. Don't don't play your babies like that. Okay, going first. Would Copycat ever be worth it here? It's not bad, honestly. But I don't want to lose the research. I'm gonna go for research first. Okay, and it can also be really good. Heatmor. I'm gonna put the Giant Cape on Heatmor to potentially survive a hit from Absol, but honestly, it's not necessarily the right move. Also because I want to play around Copycat and Red Card and such. So mostly Copycats in case it's the Hydreigon version. Okay, now it's where I go with the Copycat. Do I go with the Magby? I could sacrifice the Magby and prepare like Arceus real quick, right? I'm gonna go with the Magby at least in the bench for now. Use the Copycat, see what we get and decide from there. Elemental Switch, Leaf, Larvesta, okay. I think I do prefer going with the Magby. It's not super clean. But threatening the Absol with 130 damage is a little too much for them. Especially I haven't drawn the Cyrus yet. So I don't see much of a point in toying around with the Heatrans for now against this Absol. Because if I hit this Absol once, I then win with the Cyrus, right? Then again, they do also win with theirs if they draw their Cyrus before I do. Okay. Okay. Not bad. Then let's see. Heatran retreats for free, so I can just put it in the front while I think. Another research. I think a line of play can be going with the, like, heating the Darkrai now with the Heatmor, then using Cyrus on the Darkrai and finishing off the Chingling with the Heatmor. I am close to finishing to the end of the deck. So there's the Cyrus. Right, no discarded energy. I can use Elemental Switch. Right, but not right now because of the Chingling. I'm just gonna go with it, like I was thinking. Right, the Absol can't attack. Like they're pretty screwed in terms of energy. It was a cute one shot on the Magby, but not quite enough. Yeah, they're kind of screwed. They're very screwed in terms of card draw, like massive card disadvantage. So okay, that should be game pretty much. We finish off this Darkrai and then Chingling is easy. But yeah, like this is kind of about what you can expect with Volcarona. It's more of a very late game card that you use as a potential kind of second Cyrus almost. Because let's assume I only had 1 point here. I could have hit this Absol and then use the Volcarona to try to finish the game on that Absol. Yeah, as it stands, easy win here. Yeah, that wasn't great for them. They drew pretty poorly, but they did get a full board. So I guess what they needed most was something like Mars to stop me from getting all the options that I needed, especially the Cyrus. But yeah, GG. All right. Against Tente, they probably think it's a mirror match. Well, not quite mirror, but both Blaziken decks. Okay. Double Magby. Yeah, maybe I could have saved the spots for a Heatran. Let's see. Yeah, this is where Arceus can be a little bit awkward, because usually I like dealing cheap with something else. And this is where Heatran could have come in handy. Well, I could still use Heatmor, but I think they would evolve it. They would evolve whatever they put on the bench, but they don't put anything on the bench, even after the May. Which is very weird. Right, I don't think the Giant Cape is too useful in this match. So I'm just gonna do this as awkward as it is. Volcarona would have actually been good here. Oh, so now I get the May and I probably could get the Volcarona. Well, not necessarily. But with only one Flame Patch, that's not enough to attack with Volcarona anymore. Actually, I should not have played the Magby. Yeah, so with 6 cards left, they'll definitely retreat, I think. Okay. Mega Blaziken. I think we could try to focus all efforts on taking it down instead of dealing any damage to Entei. But easier said than done. Especially when I when I played the only fodder I had for May. That, yeah, playing this Magby was a misplay. Okay, I guess I can try to move in with Arceus. Still 130, put it at 50. But then if they have Lily, that might be rough. Elemental switch could be okay later on. And okay. If they don't use Lily, I think the problem is they use Lily and retreat and attack me with Entei again. And then I really need a bench sniping. But yeah, if they don't use Lily, I still need to top deck a Pokemon because I played Magby. Even though there would be a chance I would get both Heatrans and not the Volcarona. But yeah, it's like 3 out of 8. Or 4 out of 8, including Volcarona itself. We'll have another research. Well, Copycat could do it too. Okay, so they go all in with Entei. It's funny enough. Not really sure what the red is for. Oh, that's rough. Why did I play that Magby? Why did I play the Magby? Yeah, now they can use Cyrus. Okay. I mean, if they have Cyrus, surely they would have played it instead of BMing. Is this the kind of deck? Yeah, okay.